right, NVA fans, welcome back to the second match of the day. We are here to see Team Freedom take on the OC Stunners. Couple surprises so far. The OC Stunners, the #2 team coming out of last season, having an 0-2 weekend. They're off to a rough start, and unfortunately, I don't know if it's about to get much better. In the last point of yesterday's match, their setter, Spencer Andrews, pulled his groin, so the only setter on the roster is down and out, which means we're going to see Matt Hilling step in and take the hands for the team.
It'll be an interesting one, Nick. I think obviously a little bit unfortunate that on the last play of that match that they lost yesterday. Yeah, the setter, Andrews, does go down with a strained groin. And obviously he's not here today. He's probably at home, probably watching this, trying to take some notes.
I think he's around just supporting the team, but I don't see him at the moment.
I haven't seen him. And so, yes, Matt Hilling's going to step in and set. You know, they've got some good firepower offensively, so they've got depth in those positions that allows Matt to become the setter. I've never seen Matt Hilling set indoors, so I'm kind of curious to see what kind of offense he's going to run.
He generally does well in the gym for for Southern California. There's been a variety of times that this was an option that was explored for the Stunners, so it's certainly nothing new for him.
Okay.
Obviously, he isn't a guy that sets full time, but his hands are definitely not going to be putting them in a bad spot.
Let's talk about Team Freedom really fast.
Yeah.
We saw him play yesterday. A couple of their really big guns didn't play. We didn't see Joe Norman. What do you think they're going to put out on the court today? I
think they're going to throw everything they got at the Stunners to make sure that they come out with a win here. I don't think that they're going to hold anything back. It's a well-rounded team with a lot of depth, but I think we're going to see the duo of the Chris 1-2 punch. That's going to be Chris Nugent, Chris Vaughn on the outside. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cunningham wearing the guy in white today. Seifert in the middle, probably backed up by Modesto. And then I think we're going to see Norman on the right and probably Ryan Kenny taking the hands. But Matt Elias and Ryan Kenny both run great offenses.
This is going to be a pretty tight match.
Yeah.
You know? It's two pretty even teams, very physical. There's a lot of big dudes right now walking out on the court, 6'8" and above. You've got, for the Stunners, you've got
Jair
Santiago, he's 6'10". Joe Norman, 6'10" for Freedom.
Seifert as well.
Nick Amato breakdancing.
That's the real show here. Everyone's taking the floor. And, yeah, so we're going to see Seifert, Norman, Mikael Hoyt in the middle, opposite of Seifert. No surprise there. The Chris with Matt Elias. So I'm not sure yet which libero. Nope, it's going to be Cunningham. So pretty dead on there. And then on the side of the Stunners, that's going to give us middle blockers. That's going to be Kevin Gear, Nick West, setter Matt Hilling. And then, actually, hang on. They're not going to be using Jair Santiago here. So it looks like we're going to see.
Yeah, 14 and 12.
This is a little interesting. They've got a lot of middles on the court. In fact, they have 4 middles on the court. Okay, so what we're going to be seeing here, if I'm not mistaken, is they're going to be using Antonio Anguizzola as their only true outside. They're going to see Nick West playing right side, Nick Amato in the 0-2 slot. What they're going to be doing right now is they're going to basically overload the most offensive firepower that they can, rely on the defense of Jake Hurwitz, and they're just going to go for it with an entirely unusual roster. But they've got all 4 middles on the court right now.
It's an interesting strategy.
It's nothing shy of surprising to me with the OC Stunners. Looking
No,
for the flashiest way to play the game.
I'm not that surprised. However, I'm curious to see the efficacy of it here.
Yep, and there's a short serve to Nugent. Goes backside to Norman. First swing of the game. That's going to be a dig down the line, or a kill down the line towards Amato. Talked about it a little bit yesterday, and you're going to see Nick Amato playing this outside position once again, something that he actually periodically does train in the gym. Accredits Alan Knipe to training well-rounded volleyball players, not just middles.
I'd like to see Nick Amato pass. I've never seen him play back row, but I'm sure he's going to get a lot of passing reps this morning.
Yep, Nick West now swinging that high one, dug in the backside by Vaughn, goes out to Nugent, and Nugent swings long, and as long as there is a block touch, that's going to be a point for the Team Freedom. You know, Nick Amato, another one of those guys that plays a ton of beach, so his platform is actually a bit more confident than most middles would be.
Sorry, Nick, I'm just at a little bit of a loss for words here on this lineup start.
You know, I have the privilege of training against them regularly, and I think we'll see a little bit of interesting stuff, but they're gonna make it work. Nick Amato covered up there. Matt Hilling goes to the backside. There's a swing from Anguizzola. Reset outside to Nugent. No pancake able to be found there for Hurwitz and Amato. The thing is what this offense or what this team lineup is really going to be relying on is a lot of offensive power and a lot of big blocks, because obviously once it goes over the top of that block, there's a huge drop off in terms of defensive productivity. Matt Elias, another float serve to the hands of Amato. Going once again to Nick West and gets the kill on the outside that time. Anguizzola with the float. Received by Cunningham and set to the outside. Norman off the high hands, reset, and now Hurwitz takes second ball. And there's going to be a net infraction on the side of Joe Norman. Stunners find another point, down 2-3 here.
I'm guessing there's not going to be a lot of quick attacks from the Stunners, even though they have 4 middles on the court.
I would say as long as they find their passes, there actually might be. We'll see, though.
Okay.
Reason being is I think there's a lot more confidence with Matt Hilling to jump set and find a quick connection with the middle, reduce the amount of time the ball's in the air for some of that missteps, also with the guys on the outside being a little bit less comfortable.
Okay.
I think anytime you can reduce the amount of time the ball is in the air, it's going to be more beneficial for this unique lineup that we're seeing here. Nugent with a big toss. Good pass by Anguizzola. High ball to Amato with that step close, swings down into that corner, but not quite able to find it. That one's going to be just long.
I thought I saw the line jump on that one, Nick, but the line judge had a nice view right there as the ball landed right in front of her.
It was certainly very close. Nugent with a big top spin. Anguizzola anchoring down the passing right now. West with a roll shot over the top. One punch dig there by Cunningham. Norman's going to tip it over, but Amato there to shut it down. Seifert airs one out. And there's the double block once again. That's what they're relying on. So I think they're going to be a little bit ride or die by that block.
Okay. Yeah, nice to see a well-formed block right there in transition against Big Joe Norman, 6'8". 6'8", 6'8" blockers against a 6'10" hitter.
That's a battle for sure. Now we see Kevin Gear, Penn State middle blocker on the service line. Cunningham puts one high in the middle of the court. Quick set out to Vaughn. That's going to go over the top, dug by Hilling. Gear with a bump set out to West, and West takes a big swing that's going to go out, and there's a high swing tool. This is really the philosophy that Stunners talks a lot about at practice, is they want their guys to just be able to do it all, and they kind of do a lot of these unique things, and they'll take some pretty big losses in practice matches, but you know, they're able to test limits and see what guys can do. Quick set to the outside now. Chris Vaughn with a huge swing through the block of Nick West. You know, the one thing I think that's going to be helpful here is if Team Freedom is able to target the seams and making Jake Hurwitz kind of overload him, because he's really trying to help out a lot right now in serve receive.
Matthew Seifert serving now for Team Freedom, 6'10" middle blocker.
Off the tape, pass by Amato. Backside once again to West. Dug by Seifert. In the middle to Hoyt, but no touch, and so that's going to be a point for the Stunners. The Stunners and Stingers being the top two finishing teams and then playing back-to-back is just something that's going to trip me up all day. So got to get that one dialed in. The Stunners here now on the court. 5-6. West going after that jump serve. That goes down the line. Nice pass by Cunningham. Sets out to Vaughn, and there's the huge block. Shane Beamer, the MVP middle blocker, coming back from a very successful season over in Denmark. Over in Denmark as a Danish middle.
That was a well-formed block by Matt and Mark.
It's yeah, Matt and Shane Beamer.
Shane, thank you.
Cunningham's going to overpass that. Amato's going to reset. Hilling with the dump over.
Okay, so we're seeing the creativity of this lineup. I'm starting to understand it now. Okay, I was a little thrown off at first by seeing four middle hitters on the court at one time.
As I think anyone should be and would be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this be the way to find a win this weekend? After a surprising 0-2, they lose their setter and then put four middles on the court.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting scenario if it were to unfold that way.
So we see a 7-7 now. Next point is going to take us into our first technical timeout. Controlled serve there, but perfect pass from Amato. And they draw the net. Shane Beamer gets set a little bit low there, but able to control the tempo and his body all around and find the tip to extend that rally. But right now, first takeaway, Nick Amato far superseding what I think most people would expect a middle blocker to do in serve receive.
Yeah, he's passing the ball pretty well. I haven't seen him dig anything yet playing middle back defense, but I'm sure he'll get the opportunity here. Offensively, they seem to be, you know, they're holding their own right now with this lineup. You're seeing a lot of setting going towards Nick West, you know, on the right side. He's playing opposite. And then you see, obviously, Matt Hilling being involved in going over on two. So if you're Team Freedom, obviously, you don't really know what to expect from this group. Getting their block and defense on the same page and just being really disciplined is going to help. That last point there to lead us into the technical timeout was a net violation after a good serve from Joe Norman. That's got to, you know, get cleaned up and not happen anymore if Freedom wants to have a chance to, you know, try to figure out this sort of riddle that the Stunners are throwing at them. Absolutely,
and I think that Team Freedom is actually a squad that's going to be lined up fairly well to combat this. And the reason I say that is I think Team Freedom is one of our better serving teams with a variety of floats and jump serves. The way that you're going to beat this oddity of an offense that we're seeing right now is serving aggressively, going after those seams, making these middles pass, and Anguizzola, definitely a guy that has had a good weekend so far when he's been on the court, but he's a little bit newer to this level of play. Maybe you can target him out, but he's been a rock thus far, so definitely pressure on Team Freedom. Big serve there, and there goes Zebra, gets up above the net and able to take advantage of Shane Beamer there, gets a point for Team Freedom. Nice response out of that technical timeout.
Yeah, he's a big hitter right there. That's the first time I've seen him actually get a good quick set-in system, and he can jump.
Chris Vaughn going to be hitting his hybrid that he tosses the ball while he's in the air. Goes short. Hurwitz with a great pass outside to Anguizzola.
I think if you're Team Freedom, you got to serve tough for sure, but you got to serve tough and in.
Yeah.
Okay, and you should not be serving the libero. You
Nope.
got Nick Amato back there passing. I mean, you got to make him pass a jump float serve, because that's a serious. Even though he's a main passer right now, but
he's in system though, and Anguizzola gets the setback and gets the tool. And see, that's, you know, honestly, the one thing that I think is so hard about playing against someone like Nick Amato, he's extremely confident in his abilities. So I think more important than serving Amato is finding the seams. You need to get him going against the libero. He and Hurwitz clashing into each other and having a little disagreement about how they're expecting to pass.
Great point, Nick, absolutely. I would think that Hurwitz is probably, you know, claiming the seams on both sides so that he's got that priority.
Norman with a big swing, but that one's gonna go out. Stunner's willing to ride or die by disciplined blocking, not chasing that one too far out. Got a lot of passers on the bench right now for Stunners.
Yes, this is so odd to see the guys on the bench versus the guys on the court.
One-handed dig there by Cunningham. Nugent tries to recycle, tip over the top. Hilling throws an elbow trying to get a chicken wing dig as that comes over the top. That one's just not going to work. And, you know, maybe there is something to that, too. Some roll shots, some of that off-speed and working angles is a good way to score some points.
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick, for sure. Kind of testing out their defense or their, you know, block coverage throughout this set's definitely going to put some pressure on the Stunners to make sure that they are disciplined enough to be in the right spots. Could result in some easy points for Team Freedom.
And now we're going to see Josh Castillo coming in as a serving substitution for Zebra. Big serve, great pass once again from Amato. Dug there by Castillo. And set goes to the outside. Nugent swings off high hands, reset by West. Hilling looks for that dump, but Red. Amato reset and goes to gear, dug by Vaughn. Elias slings it to the outside, roll into the corner, and that's just it. 3 big swings, all huge touches, slowed down. You roll shot one to the corner, Stunners a little bit out of sorts on that one.
Yeah, it was a well-placed shot. Excuse me, Nick West thought he was going to go for it, then last minute pulled his hands down. Ball was going to be in, and that's, yeah, like you said on the play before, a little bit of just kind of keeping the ball in play and, you know, winning those long rallies.
Another good pass. That one's tight, but now Amato hitting the Bic route, gets a reset. Anguizzola steps in, takes that one with his hands, and a dump over to the backside now and catches Elias, or Nugent sleeping a bit there.
Something I thought I would never see is Nick Amato hitting a Bic. But
hitting it with a lot of pace and power.
Yeah, it was a pretty good swing, well timed. So
I think they're taking a page from the Ramblers. You know, you go to commit to the put someone on the outside, they can just hit with pace.
Sure. Yep.
Pass by Nugent there. Backside to Norman, tips over the top and uses the outside hand of Anguizzola. Elias the deep float, finds Hurwitz's platform. Anguizzola step close, goes down the line. Good adjustment there by Hilling to keep that one alive.
Yeah, nice set by Matt, kind of a running bump set, but give credit to Anguizzola for, you know, adjusting his feet and still being able to jump and give that ball some nice pace for a kill.
Tied at 12s. We're in a situation I don't think any of us saw coming to be the case here halfway through this first one. Big block touch. Hilling gets an overhanded dig. Bump set. West is going to reset this one. Nugent out. Set goes to Cypher. Dug by Anguizzola in the back row. Punched up by Hilling. Step closed by West. And Amato might be down and injured. Looks like he got his ankle. He's going to walk that one off, see if he might need one. I think he's heading to the bench. Confidently informs us that he thinks he's going to need a sub. Certainly an unfortunate situation because Amato's actually really been passing well. Make all the jokes you want about switching over from middle. Like, he's really getting them in a system that they can.
Well, I never joked about it. I was just surprised to
It
see
wasn't.
him
It wasn't.
passing.
It wasn't. That was
joke.
not a comment aimed at you. It was, you know, all comments aside.
Yeah.
Unfortunate to have a roster right now riddled by injuries.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate thing to see him get carried off the court there. Not sure if it was an ankle or lower leg injury, but wow, Jair just
Santiago picks up, and they yell, Panos. They look for the trainer and
just
finds out that Panos is already next to him. So Panos is the local trainer here for the NVA. Looks like a man carrying a child.
Now it would be bad if Jair got hurt picking up Nick Amato, right? You know, strain the back, but
yeah, it's an ankle for sure.
Yeah, looks like it.
And as they are out of middles to substitute in for Nick Amato with all four already in the lineup, Joey Jarvis comes in. Anguizzola takes that one with his hands, bumps that outside, and West comes in, but that's going to be a huge block between Seifert and Norman. That is something with size right there.
Twin towers right there, 6'10", 6'10" blockers. I would want to hit against that block. I mean, neither should Nick West, even though he's more of a true middle playing outside hitter now. Not a lot of places to go on that attack.
There are certainly not. Another big serve. Anguizzola puts it up in the middle of the court, and Hilling's going to air that out to West once again. And there's the block. Now, something that they are tending to do is they're trying to hang balls a little bit more inside the court to give the guys a little bit more of a natural inside approach line, get them finding some angle swings that are a little more comfortable than hitting line here. But good adjustments being made by Norman and Seifert to step in and shut that down.
I think, you know, what you're seeing here is outside hitter, you know, a middle blocker playing an outside hitter is not used to aiming for the high hands, right? So it's, you know, hitting the ball at a higher point, trying to drive the ball off the fingertips of the blockers. They're hitting down, which is resulting in a bit of a stuff down block, right? So something that you see differences in terms of offensive attack lines, right, between middles and outside hitters.
Yeah, and that's where you know, we see West on the outside there, but it was intended to be kind of like Amato playing outside. So in that rotation, you also see the guy that was never really intended to be hitting that outside set.
Yeah, you're right, absolutely.
And that adds a little bit more complication to an already very complex, you know, equation here. Kevin Gear goes for a float into the net. We're seeing a lot of the Stunners bench now up and making sure they're warm should lightning happen to strike through the ceiling and take down a third member of an already small lineup.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately the Stunners have got a bit of the injury bug. We saw Matt Hilling get injured last year in Salt Lake City with a hip injury.
Yeah, they had Corey Chavers, who was hurt with a back with a back injury at the moment.
And now to see Nick Amato go down, unfortunately.
As well as Spencer Andrews.
Yeah, and Spencer Andrews. Might have to hire their own PT trainer and or get some strength and conditioning coaches going on. You know, not really sure, but you never like to see injuries in this game. So hope everybody can heal up quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, huge shout out to Panos, the local NVA trainer. Definitely making sure everyone is taken care of as quickly as possible. And while we're in the line of shout outs, do want to say a huge thank you here to the Pierce Sports Center for having us this weekend. It's been an awesome facility, a lot of space here, and it's really great to see the guys have the ability to fully track balls down, get some big serves. So a big thank you to them. And also to Mikasa for the V200Ws that we're using. Great to see those in action.
Best ball out there, pretty much the industry standard.
Yep, for a good reason.
For indoor volleyball, yep.
Now we're right back into it with Seifert on the back line, and Stunner's going to try to find their way. Down by just 3. Anguizzola with the hand pass. Connection to middle, Shane Beamer. Back set to West now. Goes deep, doesn't quite get the connection he wants. Unfortunately, the aggravation is something that there's very little time for here. So Matt Hilling needs to see if he can get dialed back in with the team because everyone's doing their best in an unfortunate situation, to say the least. Seifert with a float once again. Good pass by Joey Jarvis. Set goes right back to him and gets the high hand, and that's a kill Joey Jarvis coming off the bench with a great pass, puts the Stunners in system and gets rewarded for it right away.
So would you say that Joey Jarvis is sort of the only true outside hitter that the Stunners have on the court right now?
No, they're actually both are now. Antonio Anguizzola is another outside. So they are back into a normal outside rotation. So this roster's starting to look a little bit more normal. Only exception being Nick West, but as long as he's going to bring that cannon and hit serves like that, I think you can start to justify his presence on the court on the right side.
Do you know if Nick West is in a band?
I don't, but well, I know he's not. But if he was, he's got the look.
He does. He does. It looks like he could be playing at the local concert hall, you know, guitar, whatever, lead singer.
Yep. And he decleats Chris Nugent there. Tip over the top, picked up by Jarvis. Hilling looks for the outside set. And a little bit of a missed tempo connection there between Jarvis and Hilling. That's a tough spot to be in. So Joey Jarvis stepping in right there to cover the tip over the top. Basically puts him out of a full speed approach. So he's getting to the outside, looking for a gather step, looking for that quicker set. That one kind of set a little bit higher and behind, not able to get there.
Yeah, just misconnection on tempos for sure. He needed it a little bit faster and shorter, and Matt went slower and higher.
And there's Norman missing into the net.
Joe Norman's got to find his serve.
Yeah, that first toss, even though he put it in, was not the one he wanted. So good control, like to see that, but here with that missed one.
Yeah.
Float now from Jarvis, pass by Cunningham. He found that one. Joe Norman with a great adjustment. Big swing into the high seam, goes OT the block.
There's a few guys in this league that can hit the ball at or above the top of the antenna. Joe Norman's one of them. I mean, he's one of the biggest guys in our league here for the NVA, and keep feeding him the ball. I mean, he's going to be a big point scorer for his team after making the change from Southern Exposure last year.
Yep. Anguizzola once again, and now Beamer looking for a tip reset. Hilling is out. Joey Jarvis going to bump set a D-ball. West swings in the corner and finds the chest of Norman. Overpass put away by Shane Beamer. Nice management there by Joey Jarvis to find a connection with West. Beamer with a good float serve off the side of Cunningham. Nugent's gonna have to free ball, and Joey Jarvis takes the first one. Set outside to Anguizzola, and Anguizzola funnels that down the chest of Elias. Quick identification there of a little bit of a hitter-blocker mismatch.
You see a slight misconnection there between Matt and Anguizzola in that set. I think one of those things we're going to see continue to develop is where the setting location is of the balls that Matt's throwing out to the outside hitters.
As long as they continue to manage, management is the name of the game right now for the OC Stunners. Beamer misses wide, and that's going to give Mikael Hoyt his turn on the line. Good hand pass there by Anguizzola, and he gets set back, and he buries this one. Once again, that setter identification of the blocker-hitter mismatch gives him one-on-one. Good work there by Kevin Gear to hold Seifert in the middle.
And a well-placed set by Matt like we were talking about previously. So good
Very
adjustments by everybody.
Down by just one. Stunners looking to make a late-game push. Hilling with controlled serve. Perfect pass by Cunningham. And that one's going to break through the windows of Elias.
Just a bit of a slobber ball on that. Haven't seen that one happen this weekend, but that one just slips through the fingers.
20-20. We are now in a full-blown race to 5. That one's in. That looked in. That was absolutely in. I saw that serve in from over here, and that's a big one for Matt Hilling. Even the bench on Team Freedom back there is agreeing. Good adjustment for the referee to not be too proud on that. Made a quick adjustment, and that tailed at the last moment because that was.
And backed up by the up ref. So, you know, I think that was a good call. You're not seeing much argument from Team Freedom's bench, who has a great view of that serve. So give credit to the spectacular line judge that's over there for
our crew in blue.
Yep.
You know, I think one of the big things right now that's actually really helping the Stunners is they've removed a bit of expectation. Because when you've got your squad in your lineup, you're coming back trying to defend that number 2 spot. There's a little bit of expectation. There's some pressure, but now by kind of accepting and admitting that you're not in that form, you're going to just have to plug and play, and there's no point crying over spilled milk, and that's what we saw a little bit with the mentality the other day.
And they're 0-2 right now. So if they want to come out of this weekend's event with at least something to build on, they have to win this match.
Yep.
Or else they're going to be going into week 2, event number 2 at 0-3 and really just digging themselves into a deeper hole.
Hilling going right back. That one does, in fact, go long. But I got to say, Team Freedom is a tough opponent to have to battle out with this lineup. So the fact that they're at 21-21 speaks to the fortitude the team is displaying here today.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing the best passing yet from Team Freedom.
I would agree.
They got to tighten that up a little bit more going into the next set.
Good serve from Elias. Great pass from Hurwitz. West able to swing out of the troublesome rotation. And right now, since they got through that rotation, the rest of it's kind of smooth sailing, so they're going to be able to battle back once again.
You know, give kudos to Nick West to just be swinging away. Okay, he's not afraid to get blocked. I think we've seen that time and time before. But going up against 2 6'10" blockers, and he's just working the ball around him.
Good pass by Nugent. Elias goes off there to Norman, and Norman goes 4-4. Even with the set that's a little bit behind him, does a great job managing his swing, cuts that one into the angle.
It's going to be a tough ball to stop, right, if you're the blockers for the Stunners.
You know, and that's one of those other things that, regardless of the personnel on the court, serving is one of those things that is individual per player. And so we're seeing a good amount of pressure being put on from the serving line as well from the Stunners. So you mentioned the, a little bit of struggling on the passing from Freedom, which I agree is certainly the case. It speaks to sometimes just having 6 bodies on the court that all have good serves.
Yeah.
That can just kind of do it for you too.
Yeah.
That one goes long.
But Team Freedom, you know, so they need to pass a little bit better, and they need to make their serves a little bit more consistent. Right now, they're sort of they're not putting the pressure on the Stunners because they're missing too many serves.
Yeah, and you know, switching over to having Joey Jarvis now in, it's really going to kind of remove that window that's helpful. There's a big swing, no off block move able to make there with the back row, Kevin Gear. $23 all, Seifert now. Hurwitz puts it up in the middle of the court. It's going to be a set over. West thinks he can't get a comfortable swing there. Set back out to the outside, and Vaughn finds a big swing against the double block of Beamer and West. Timeout called on the side of the Stunners.
Well, so, you know, give credit to Nick West to not just give the point away, give his blocking defense a chance to stop the ball, but unfortunately, you know, Chris Vaughn just comes in high and hard and crushes that ball into the angle to give them set point and a nice timeout from Stunners right now. I think this is a good move by them. You see coach player Hilling over there, sort of describing what some strategies need to be. And then on Team Freedom, you know, they're going to be serving here for their first set point, up a point. Just put the ball in play, give them a nice tough serve. Don't let them off the hook by missing. And see if they can manufacture another point and the first set win.
Always love to see a team that's got 2 6'10" guys up there, and then they can go to Vaughn, one of their shorter guys up there on the outside, confidently be a guy that's just continuing to put kills away for them.
Yep.
Seifert with a float, taken by Anguizzola. Quick set into the middle, dug by Seifert. Tipped over the top. Anguizzola finds a late dig there. Sent over by Jarvis and dug by Nugent. Now Norman tips over, and Jarvis puts it into the top of the tape, and that one's going to not be able to be picked up. Falls in an awkward location that there's no one left to defend that ball.
Yeah, nice comeback win there by Team Freedom to kind of weather the storm, or whatever you want to call what that lineup was that the Stunners put out there. Sort of weather the questionable sort of strategies there, but I think Team Freedom is the stronger team here in terms of their personnel on the court.
Yep.
But again, they gotta tighten up their passing, and they gotta make their serves a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we saw some uncharacteristic mismanagement of serves there from John Cunningham, the libero, on Team Freedom. Someone that's been traditionally very steady, rock solid for them. We'll see if he's able to kind of just bring that one back in. But again, when you free the stresses from the team and have a bunch of guys able to just start hammering serves like the Stunners have been, or targeting, you got a couple good float servers there, that back and forth, different looks on the service line can be difficult to manage.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nick. As far as the Stunners are concerned, personnel-wise, they've got some big hitters still on the bench, and Jair's warming his shoulder up, a couple other guys in case they need to make a move. I don't even know what to expect from them out of the gates here, lineup-wise, to start this second set.
I would expect that we are going to see something similar. I'm curious as to what the reasoning behind West over Jair is. If I had to guess, right now you're trying to get as many well-rounded players on the court as possible. Jair, being that very true opposite, doesn't tend to have a lot of mobility. The ability to step in, take a second set, maybe get a tip or some of those tips and digs that he's looking for. And maybe they think that the increase with West there as a well-rounded player is worth more than
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think Jair should be on the court. He's 6'10". He's got huge jump serve. He's got obviously a huge presence at the net going up against, two other 6'10" hitters for Team Freedom. He can be a front row and a back row option.
Yep.
I appreciate your point, Nick, but I'm going to say, throw Jair in there and see. I think you're going to get better production, unless it's a connection issue between Matt and Jair.
That was the other part I hadn't yet addressed.
Okay.
Jair's got a hitting path that he wants to hit, and when it's not in there, the swing management is not something that has a lot of experience.
So you're saying that the reason Jair has all that tape on his shoulder is because he was taking too many reps from Matt Hilling's setting and trying to adjust.
Would that make you feel better if I agreed with you?
No, we can agree to disagree. That's fine, too.
Well, just wait for us to all be wrong and we see Dylan Emery make his entry. Now, that's one I'm actually kind of surprised we're also not seeing. Dylan Emery, their second right side, is a very experienced all-around beach guy as well. Very comfortable with his hands, plays great defense, played outside for them when they were battling some injuries out in Utah. So another one of those guys that can step in. So
a bit of an all-arounder.
Yep.
Utility player, if you will.
But right now we're seeing the same team return on both sides, so no changes. We can talk all day, but I'm dying to hear. I'm dying to go talk to these guys after the match and hear what the approaches were and what the theory crafting that was going on to get them here.
Yeah, well, we'll just have to find out once this match is over. Do a little research and be prepared the next time they throw this lineup out on the court.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Team Freedom with a one-set lead now, starting us off with the Matt Elias float serve. Going to be a tight set that Anguizzola throws back to Cunningham. Elias goes to Norman. That's a nice block touch there, but Joe Norman gets it done. Nice pass by Jarvis. Hilling goes to the backside. West sends that one long. Doing the best to keep the offense established, even if something may be a lower hitting percentage. They've got to try to prevent, Anguizzola getting camped here by Seifert and Norman, 6'10", double block.
Yeah, and Nugent's, 6'7", so that's a pretty big front line right now for Team Freedom.
Hilling goes right back to West, and West repeats the swing. No touch there.
Nick Weston, amazement that he made 2 hitting errors in a row. Just timing-wise, is a little off between him and Matt.
A lot of credit here to Matt Elias, hitting a nice float serve that Joey Jarvis is trying to battle with, but it's doing a good job getting the Stunners out of system. Hurwitz able to find that one tight. Anguizzola goes up into the hard angle, and there's the pass you want to see. Hurwitz able to get the job done. Nice set by Hilling, goes to the outside. Seifert looks at Norman and says, my bad. Got held there in the middle by Beamer. Oh, sorry, that was Gear still up. I just saw Beamer come off the court. Hilling hits the jump, nice pass. And there's the big swing from Seifert.
See, so for Nick West in that position, you've got a 31 coming at you and Joe Norman as a left side attacker, right? So you have to be able, you gotta honor Joe Norman as being a 6'11", 6'10", outside hitter, but also prioritize the 31 attack and credit to Team Freedom for attacking that seam.
Little overload there. Nugent's gonna go wide there. Anguizzola has been utilizing a float serve thus far, picking targets and trying to open up some pressure. Finds Nugent, but they're back in system. That's Norman going one-on-one. Oh, nope, there was Gear.
Yeah, there was two up there on that.
Yeah.
That's a nice attack line by Joe. Just kind of goes high hands, but still goes down cross court for the winner.
I got blocked by the pole there, and Kevin Gear hidden behind the outside block of Jarvis. Anguizzola with a good pass, and Jarvis now jams that one down, identifies that Norman's block is a little bit inside, trying to take away some of the hitting tendencies of Jarvis, but one-on-one, you just got to take court. So good identification there by Jarvis.
Yeah, and that was a pretty tight set. Joe's got to see that and just realize to grab it, right? Grab that tight set, just, even if you've got to reach outside your body, but get in front of the ball.
Kevin Gear missing his second float serve.
Body language of Matt Hilling is
telling.
I'm not sure what the right word is. I wasn't going to say that, but.
High swing there. Jarvis does not find any hands either. Smaller block there. A little bit different now that Elias is front row, and while Zebra jumps exceptionally well in the middle, different than the twin tower block that we've been seeing between Seifert and Norman. Norman also went for a float serve there. We'll notice we were talking about some adjustments there, so good change up for him. Norman finds the dig here, and Elias goes right back to him. And that's going to be a big swing called in there by Jarvis. I thought that was, I didn't see that very well, certainly to have an opinion.
Well, it happened pretty fast. That ball came, I got blocked back pretty quick, you know.
No one argued. It
Nobody
was clearly
argued,
the right call.
When you hit the ball as hard as Joe, it's going to get blocked pretty hard as well.
Yeah.
So, that one bounced down pretty fast.
Fast
but
in, fast out, yeah.
lineman saw it in, so no arguments, and we continue.
Good pass by Cunningham. And there's the middle attack from Zebra. Scooped by Anguizzola, and he step closes and takes a deep swing back. Definitely doesn't want to give anything free. And that's going to take us into the technical timeout. That was a great dig back there from Anguizzola. Gets both hands underneath of it. Able to lip that one, get it up.
Yeah, nice heads-up play to put up a settable ball or a hittable ball
by Jarvis,
on the second contact by Jarvis. Unfortunately, Anguizzola just couldn't keep it in play. But I do like the aggressive swing by him. I mean, they're down by 4 points. You need to be aggressive. If you're going to go down swinging. Swing for the fences if you're losing, but play within yourselves.
Yep,
okay.
I think that was a smart swing.
Yeah, and I agree with you. So,
but right now we're seeing Team Freedom kind of make some of those adjustments we were critical of. They've done a good job managing serves. I like seeing Norman go to that float. He's now going to be coming back out for his third serve in a row. And that's a great adjustment, especially when you have a team that is so disciplined about blocking well and playing well around the block. Elias, another one of those guys, much like Durkin, to be in a situation where Leo Durkin can set anyone on stingers. I think Matt Elias is in a very similar situation. He's got front row, back row options. They are loaded to the gills.
Yeah, absolutely right, Nick.
Always interesting. Had a couple chances to talk in depth with outside hitter number 9, Chris Vaughn. He's someone that has played every kind of volleyball short of volleyball in space. He's played grass, beach, indoor, snow. He got a chance to represent the U.S. playing in some fours in the snow. So he's a well-rounded player, and I think in college he played a year or two of libero before switching to outside. And so he just does it all. A great defensive guy that just has great touch. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. Also a very fun personality.
Yeah.
Bump set here. It's going to be going backside to Norman. And there's that big out-of-system swing, unable to be dug by Hurwitz.
Yeah. That was a great swing by Joe. Really high aggressive line, cross court. Pretty much going to be unstoppable, especially in transition. You know, had a one-man block in front of him, and that's advantage Joe all day long.
Yeah, definitely. When he finds his set, he knows how to capitalize. Vaughn finds that bounce off the tape, and he is the only guy in the NVA that does this serve. And I asked him why he did it, and he said he kind of accidentally stumbled upon it, and everyone he's ever met hates it, tries to teach him out of it, but it works for him, so he just keeps going, and he tosses it and then jumps at the same time. He doesn't chase the toss.
It's a very bit of a unique serve, that's for sure.
Nice pass here by Jarvis. Goes up to the middle, high swing there by Beamer, and that's exactly how you want to utilize a middle that's a high flyer like him. Good set there by Hilling.
Yeah, nice connection by Hilling to Beamer. Beamer's a good athlete. He's a jumper. Clearly he's about 6'7". You're gonna have to get him involved here throughout the rest of this match if the Stunners want a chance to sneak out a win.
Up by Cunningham. Set over there off the head of Anguizzola. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, guys that would have a lot of international experience. It's really important when you're managing swings, sets are not counted as an attack attempt. And so that's going to be something that Joe Norman has developed in his time playing overseas, played a bit in Korea, as well as a couple other leagues. So especially when you're trying to land those contracts, hitting percentage numbers sometimes are all that matter. So
yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great point, Nick. And we see the Stunners make a substitution here as Chris Chappelle has come in for Anguizzola, taking a break, maybe catching a breather. Matt Hilling dumps on 2 for the quick point, though.
What a great way. You just slow the game down, use a timeout, ice it, come back, and throw that dump. Everyone's talking about, hey, how do we block the new guy? He's a lefty outside. Make sure you're dialed in on that, and then you get a dump coming down your throat.
Yeah.
Still a lot of distance for the Stunners to try and make up. Team Freedom looking much better here in the second set. Good pass by Vaughn, perfectly in system, and that's going to be a one-on-one block, and Nugent more than happy to take care of that one. Yeah. Seifert gives him the nod. Hey, I got your middle, you take this kill.
That was a great swing by Nugent. Goes line seam on Matt Hilling's block and scores a great point for Freedom. Now with a 6-point lead, starting to get in a commanding position here in set number 2.
Chappelle, high pass, and that's a bump set from Hurwitz. There's that big block, and we had front row seats. We've been talking all day long on a bunch of teams, get over the net, get over the net. That block was very over the net.
Yeah, not the out-of-system situation you want to be in when you're going to get set as a left side hitter, and you've got Seifert and Norman standing right in front of you.
Flow goes to Jarvis, great pass. They look for Chappelle once again, dug by Cunningham on the cross. And Nugent swings deep, dug by Jarvis and kept alive by Hurwitz. West is going to free ball this one over, but Cunningham ensures in-system swings for Joe Norman. Looking for a net there, but not going to get it. That one goes wide, and tough spot to be in when you're in a one-on-one with a height discrepancy of upwards of 7 inches.
Yeah.
Chappelle, not more than 6'2". Hilling ends that side out with a serve into the net.
Yeah, not what the Stunners need right now. I mean, you got to get some serves in, put some pressure on Team Freedom, because right now, Stunners being down by 7 points, they got to figure out a way to score some points here and try to draw this game even.
Great pass by Hurwitz. Hilling goes backside to Chappelle. The left side swinger finds, oh, nope, that one's out down the line. A little delayed as their line judge didn't want to take that one to the head, so call is out. Nugent barely gets one full rotation on that ball as it continues to sail. Chappelle with a good serve. Seifert in system. High touch, and Hurwitz crashing in. That one ricochets above his head.
Nice side out by Matt Seifert there, 6'10" middle blocker out of Penn State, right? Best mustache in the National Volleyball Association.
He's a Penn State guy as well, so we got a little Penn State middle battle going on between him and Kevin Gear. Nittany Lions well represented. One thing you can always count on from Joey Jarvis is just an infectious smile, wants to get the guys playing together, and so that's his big thing right now is don't worry so much about the end result. Let's just keep guys playing together.
Yeah, I like where they're, rounding around Nick Amato, who is clearly done for the day. Trying to figure out the strategy-wise, talk about placements on the court, positions, things like that. Staying positive, keeping the good, energy involved, and seeing if they can create some momentum, through the rest of this set. See if they can sneak back within, give themselves a chance to tie, get to, within 3 or 4. Just, small goals, to get them back in and create some momentum.
Absolutely, and now we see Team Freedom making the adjustments that they've made from the set 1 to set 2 difference are really, really being effective for them. We're seeing that stack once again, so they're going to be serving that at Chris Chappelle. And Hurwitz steps in to help take it. Big swing from Jarvis that does not find that touch. And a great way to figure out where Team Freedom wants to serve is watch where they stack. Mikael will set it up. He'll go between the server and the target. You're going to see Norman and Vaughn step between, and then back row, Elias and Nugent standing around that as well. So 5 guys now between Chappelle and Seifert. Serve hits target dead on. Nick West determined to take a swing, finds that one into the corner. Good management of that situation by the Stunners. And that's going to be a substitution for a serve now. Jair Santiago coming in for Kevin Gear.
Interesting serving sub choice here. Curious to see how this is going to work out, as he's been on the sidelines this entire match so far, so he's getting his first action with this serving substitution.
See if they can maybe rattle the serve receive of Team Freedom with a big server like Jair Santiago. We've seen very few people hit it as hard as he does. Unfortunately, he hit that one just as hard out. They undo the sub now and looking for something that when you're down by 8 or 9 points, looking for a way to kind of just change the court dynamic.
Yeah, probably a good thing for Jair to at least get into the game and get a good look at a jump serve here. He might get some action next set or even later on in this set just to kind of keep him loose and warm if he gets, in a situation where they need him.
Yep. Hand pass by Chappelle. Going backside to West. Gets a tool off the outside hand there, Zebra. And I don't think we'll see actually Santiago anymore this match because it's the 1 in, 1 out. So I think he's now done, right? With FIVB rules.
Oh, for this set.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right.
West hammers that one home. Great pass by Nugent. Outside Devon. Blocked well with a combination of Beamer and Hilling. Chops it down the line. Great pass by Cunningham. And Zebra over the top. He's really just hitting down on that ball.
Yeah, nice attack line right there by Mikael. He can jump really well. He can pick that ball off at a high point. And Stunners are going to have a hard time stopping that.
And here's that substitution I was talking about, bringing in Dylan Emery in the back row, the lefty backup oppo for Nick West to try to get something to create some rallies here. Hilling goes outside to Jarvis, recycled into the middle of the court. Hilling looks for that deep dump. Cunningham sitting on top of it. Norman swings into the seam. Chappelle and Emery splitting that seam apart there. Yeah. 20-11, and we're now seeing kind of, I think, what we expected a bit more.
Yeah, you're starting to see the wheels come off, you know, a little bit, loosen up for the Stunners. They really just need to regroup, find a good, solid lineup that they can put on the court, and maybe just play straight-up volleyball.
And that's going to be blocked off the chest or face of Zebra there, but gets a great touch all the same. And now Joey Jarvis showing what a little bit of that volleyball IQ can do for you. Roll shot over the top. Yeah, we see Zebra point to his forehead, gets that one right off the dome. But it was a great block touch nonetheless. Nugent with a good hand pass, and Zebra goes and tees off. Nicely done by Nugent. That's your job as the front row outside. Sometimes it's hard and sometimes you hate it, but he makes sure that he passes first. Got a pass for you hit. Gets a system set up that Zebra is able to get involved offensively. And now we see Josh Castillo subbed in for Zebra to hit that really aggressive serve from the middle of the court. Good pass by Chappelle. Back set to Emery, who tips out, takes Elias out. Vaughn with the jump set there to Norman, dug by Hurwitz. Chappelle step closes the lefty outside. Elias comes across, and Nugent's the only option. Swung deep, nice dig by Hurwitz. Back set to Emery once again. Off the bench, getting a nice rip into the deep corner. Seifert muscles it through, dug by Emery. Hilling now going for a swing. Swings wide on that one. Not able to find the rip he's looking for. Great rally on both sides. We're seeing a couple nice digs there from Team Freedom and Stunners alike.
Yeah, good scramble play by both sides. You got to see some non-setter setting. Good controlled attacks with Matt Hilling hitting that last ball out of bounds.
Josh Castillo returning with that pressured jump serve. Ooh, almost gets that one to go. Serving sub undone, and now we're going to see Shane Beamer going after that float. Takes Nugent out. Vaughn's going to bump set this back. Norman sets it over to the deep corner. Beamer ready, and Gear goes for the swing, and Seifert almost beat Gear to that ball.
He almost did. That was a nice one-handed Kong block reach over, and the misconnection there between Hilling and Gear, and Seifert says, thank you very much. I'll throw that right back down in front of you.
That was a great example of a very aggressive penetrating block. Emery gets a second rip, and there it goes into the chest platform of Elias, not able to be dug. Stunners continue to battle before we get to set point number 2. They're trying to find their way right now. Hilling finds Cunningham. Nugent takes a big swing, blocked by Gear. And Norman goes low seam. Emery in his first front row rotation finds his point. Nicely done there by Gear, going left and right, finding 2 block touches during that rally. Good work for him.
Yeah, you see Joe sort of lower his arm, try to sneak it down the line, and Emery with a well-disciplined block at a good time there for the Stunners.
Hilling lollipops one in a bit there. Seifert dug by Hurwitz. They're in transition, and Emery takes his swing, finds another point once again. Great to see this guy in this situation step in and make a positive change. He's been with the Stunners since before they were the Stunners. They were back when they were the Blizzard, playing AA and open volleyball. The longest standing vet on this roster. Good set swing there by Hilling. Seifert hangs and bangs, but Hurwitz takes it. Hilling lays this one up, and Chappelle squeaks it through as a left side outside. That's a really difficult swing to hit that inside set as a lefty outside hitter.
Yeah, for a lefty, that was he made a good adjustment in the air to stay behind the ball and hit it back to the back corner of the left back corner.
We're starting to see a couple more positive block touches that are yielding extended defensive rallies here for the Stunners. Great pass by Vaughn. Set goes to Norman, goes over the top, and that's a dig by Jarvis. Step close once again, covered by Hurwitz. Gear just tips it over, Seifert touches it up. Norman once again tries to throw it over the top, and sometimes you just can't teach height.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to stop that one. That was a power tip throwdown well over the block and into the middle of the court, and Team Freedom now has at set point for game number 2.
Nugent takes a big swing. And now Emery on the left, able to beat the double block of the Twin Towers.
Yeah, chisels it off of Joe Norman's right hand.
This is where guys like Dylan Emery thrive. Put him into the chaos, let him swing, and show him what a little bit of a veteran guy can do. Chappelle sends it deep. In system's gonna go outside, and Vaughn takes a swing, blocked by Gear. Jarvis throws it down, unable to be brought back by Freedom. Chris Chappelle hit a float serve last time, probably going to be returning in kind right now. That one's in, finds the deep line, drops it at the very end, and that's going to be the Stunners finding their way back to 20.
Making this game competitive.
They were down 23-14 and are on a 6-1 run right now. A nice little end of match energy boost. Great pass from Cunningham, goes right to the middle, and Seifert able to beat the one-on-one block against the hands of Kevin Gear there. So that's going to be a 25-20 set 2 win for Team Freedom. And it's kind of interesting because the original lineup that the Stunners put out there were very competitive.
Yeah.
Once they, surprisingly so, once they had the injury with Amato, things kind of rustled up. They were now off of the game plan that they had put together, and they were trying to struggle to find what was going to work.
So they're scrambling, yeah.
Yep, and they were trying to do something slightly different. They went off of Anguizzola. They, we see Joey Jarvis coming in. We see Chappelle coming in, and now we see Dylan Emery making his entry. And we're starting to see an emergence of a lineup that might start to make sense, a way to start this third set. So they're kind of going through a bit of a transformation process as we all watch live with them. But Team Freedom still very much in control of this, and they just need to kind of shore up some of those blocking moves that were very, very good early on, and they were getting chiseled away at a bit there at the end of that one.
Yeah, they don't need to change very much on their side of the game here, Team Freedom. Continue to put the pressure on from the inline with their service game. Maybe their blocking could be a little bit tighter. You see the Stunners are attacking their outside hands or maybe their line hands. Make sure those hands are squared up, reaching back, getting over the net. Team Freedom's been doing a great job on their block and getting over the net. Now just got to tighten it up just that tiny little bit more to close that set out a little bit faster.
So far we've seen Seifert, I think that they can still, I think they're still passing well enough. I'd like to see them activate him more. I think that they're passing in system especially. I don't know what his transition routes are like or if he's being available. Haven't paid attention that much, but I do know that they've had some pretty good rallies that I think he's hitting at a high percentage. Maybe activate him a little bit more. And right now the Stunners have a lot of one-on-one blocks to the pin, so that'll just continue to establish how effective the Freedom middles can be. Yeah,
what I'd like to see out of Team Freedom right now to start this third set is to play with some real urgency. Play like you're losing, right? Because I'm saying that if they can come out and really throw a few haymakers right out of the gates, I think the Stunners are going to stumble back a little bit, and I don't think they'll be able to answer it. I think there's just a little bit too much going on in terms of where the players are supposed to be for the Stunners, who's a hitter, who's available, who's supposed to be where. And if Team Freedom can really come out with some high intensity, make some big plays early on, could potentially be a walkover sort of as we finish out this third set.
Absolutely, and I think we're seeing some great adjustments as well from Cunningham, the libero, number 47. I think he's been doing a good job. He was struggling a little bit in his serve receive there at the beginning. Started making some digs, though, and I think as a result, he's kind of forcing himself back into his rhythm. His passing cleaned up quite a bit, and when he is firing on all cylinders, this is a happy team.
Yeah, you're totally right. Obviously, you need to have all hands on deck, you know, when it comes to game time, and that's no exception.
No adjustments on the side of Team Freedom, and it looks like Stunners wants to run it back the exact same way they just ended. Actually, small adjustment. Looks like they're going to bring Nick West in, their former opposite, making his re-entry as a middle blocker now. A little bit more comfortable for him, but that's going to be giving Kevin Gear a break. Gear having a little bit of a difficulty in some of those matchups. Right now, the Stunners are asking quite a bit of some of their guys, trying to just make good adjustments. So, you know, moving pieces around like that makes sense. And I think they were happy with the defensive and serve receive moves we were seeing from Chappelle and Jarvis back there.
Yeah, I think this is a good move to put a true middle back in there. Nick West, if Gear was having a little bit of a misconnection between him and Matt Hilling, the setter. Obviously, Nick West has got a good presence on the court for the Stunners that they'll probably need if they want to, you know, try to mount a comeback here.
He's an emotional guy that'll get people pretty fired up in a great way too. So a couple blocks and you're sure to be having a good time with him. Team Freedom now start the game having to score 1 point less than the Stunners with a missed serve to start it. Matt Elias hits that float, targeting Chappelle, but it's a good pass. But Hilling has one option really with Chappelle. Tight set, tipped over. Cunningham takes second ball. Nugent chips it down the line, and now Hurwitz goes with an overpass that's managed by Chappelle, gets a high poke. Cunningham going to Vaughn there. Dug by Hilling, tracked down almost by Chappelle, not quite gonna work.
Does that look like Nick West to you?
A little bit, I see it. I see what you're saying. The Daniel Day-Lewis. Dylan Emery there with a high swing. There's the Seifert in transition, dug by Hilling. Bump set by Hurwitz, and more than ready to take a swing. You know, as a guy that played with Hurwitz and Emery for so long, back when it was the Stunners were still Blizzard Volleyball, Jake Hurwitz platform setting is some of the best in the business.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where to hang that ball, and just he knows where his guys like to hit. I very frequently hit higher percentages actually off of him than our setters. He just knows exactly where to put it for guys. Now back set to Nugent, and that's dug by Hurwitz over. Cunningham resets. It's going to be a little bit of a lap here for Elias. Going to Emery once again, and there's that high reset swing. Hits the ceiling, and that one's called out. Vaughn tracks it down. That's kind of an interesting one to hit the ceiling on the other side of the net, but because it was on a blocking move, that is deemed out of bounds as if it were hitting the ceiling on an overpass.
Yeah. That one went off, I want to say, Matt Seifert's head pretty aggressively. That was a pretty hard swing by Dylan Emery.
Chappelle now with a big jump serve. Finds the antenna, and that's going to be an ace. That one kind of kept going and found its way all the way to the antenna. Nothing that Elias can do to pull that one out. Our ref crew now readjusting the antenna after taking that hit. Chappelle goes right back. Nice pass by Vaughn. Goes to Norman on the outside, dug by Hilling. Jarvis jump sets to Emery. Reset covered by West. Goes to the middle. And that's a block move by Seifert as he sees it coming back and goes low and tight.
Nice transition blocking by Team Freedom there. It was a bit of a scramble play coming right from the Stunners. And Matt Seifert just being disciplined and getting his hands back over the net. A little tap block.
That's going to be a very tight pass. Chris Vaughn takes care of it. Chappelle almost drops that on the head, but you know, 1 foot can be a world of difference, and that's going to result in a point on the scoreboard for Team Freedom. Great serve by Nugent. Hurwitz with a good pass. And now Joey Jarvis takes a big swing, but Nugent steps in, finds it, and Vaughn returns fire. Funnels that one down Nick West. Outside's getting it done for Team Freedom.
Yeah, good response by Team Freedom so far. They kind of weathered the storm a little bit right out of the gate from the Stunners, and Dylan Emery with his lefty swings from the pins, but Freedom going on a little run of their own now.
That one's going to go just long. A lot of
fortunate.
Two guys looking at each other over the seam yelling, you.
Yep.
And luckily, instead it goes out.
Yeah. You go, I go. Nobody go, because it was out.
Yep.
That was the point.
Take them where you get them. Nick West has been hitting a lot of big jump serves so far. Catches Seifert. Cunningham trying to track it down, not able to do so. I mean, that's as good of a serve as you're going to see catching the tape and hit. The one disadvantage to being a huge middle is sometimes you're just a target.
You're in the way. When you're 6'10", sometimes it's hard to get out of the way.
Everyone able to share a little laugh about it on Team Freedom. Seifert says, throws a thumbs up, says, my bad.
Yep. But he appreciates the effort from Cunningham chasing that ball down.
Nice pass by Vaughn. They go backside. Norman Tight tries to jam that off the hand of Joey Jarvis, and Jarvis does not touch it.
Yeah, that's just the connection between Joe and the setter. That set was just a little too low. Joe's 6'10", he's a big dude. Get that set up high enough for him to go up and reach and crush it cross court.
Set it high enough that he can be triple blocked every time. When it's that high, now he's in his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Just long. What a serve there by West. Does not quite find the court. And now we're going to see Seifert going after the Chappelle-Jarvis seam. I think Chappelle is still their guy. Finds the hands of Jarvis, and Beamer tries to cover himself, catches him in between his platform and his chest in the air, and catches the ball.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a good choice. So a bit of a force, you know, from Matt Hilling over to the middle hitter there. Didn't quite develop high enough for him to get a good swing on it.
Great serve by Seifert, but handled well by Chappelle. Tip over the top. Norman gets a one-handed touch. Tipped over once again, and miscommunication between Jarvis and Hilling about who's there to take it. They both read that one like a book. Technical timeout here as Freedom is the first one to 8. This has been a heck of a match to digest. There's a lot going on that's forcing quite a bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of storylines going on here with both sides trying to figure each other out. One side really maybe trying to figure their own side out a little bit more than what the other team is doing, and that's the side of the Stunners, trying to you know, put a puzzle together with some pieces that aren't quite lining up, I feel like.
Different puzzle pieces, or different puzzles, you know, all together.
Yeah.
But right now we're seeing Freedom. This is one of those things that they do well, is Freedom knows exactly what they want from their system. And so they're able to kind of put that all together, doing it well right now.
I do have to say that Team Freedom's dealing with a little adversity themselves. Their coach, Justin Beaumont, had to catch his flight, so they're currently, you know, there's no coaching staff for Team Freedom.
Gotcha. So now they're on the same keel, even keel as Stunners.
In that regard, yeah.
Plenty of guys here that also coach collegiately, and that's one of those fun things. I think if we found out how many guys are current coaches or have coached in the NVA, I think we would be in the 80th percentile. So lots of guys that know how to manage rosters and things like that. So always interesting to see how they can put that all together. float here from Seifert. Jarvis with a big swing, able to use that high seam and tools off wide. Credit to Jake Hurwitz for that pass.
Yeah, nice side out by the Stunners. Good swing by Jarvis.
High ball in the middle of the court allows for a set to Vaughn, but that's going to be a double block move that's just out from Shane Beamer and Hilling.
Stunners are right there. They're getting good looks, making good moves. Balls just are, 1, 2, 3 inches out almost every time, it seems like. Or else this may be a different story.
Norman sticking with his float, gets a great result from it. And goes down like a big tree trying to find a little bit of a defensive move there as Jarvis chips that one off the side. That's why you start low, so you don't have to go high to low on that defensive move. You're already low, and that you can just start your lateral movement right away.
Yeah, start low, get that butt down, take a step in the direction of the ball. Don't just fall over, but again, easier said than done when you're 6'10".
They do like to get him right back involved where there might not be a defensive move. There certainly is an offensive one.
You're certainly correct, Nick.
I like your certainly today.
For a guy that's 6'10", Joe Norman, he's not like wowing us on the stat sheet. He's not getting, a ton of attempts. The offense for Team Freedom is very even, which is nice to see. It's not one player specific heavy, right? And you've seen good balance between all three hitters, Nugent, Norman, and Vaughn. And the middles as well, obviously, Seifert and
Zebra.
Zebra, getting some kills.
Back set here to Norman once again, and that's going to be a block. Nick West getting it done, bringing him back in there, and we're seeing that positive productivity.
Yeah, nice block by Nick. I think that's his second block on Joe, so I think good work by the Stunners to get the matchups that they wanted, and for having Nick West back on the court, getting some real points with this block and defense.
We are now joined for the first time, making her return, Victoria. What are you seeing?
Hey, Nick. Yeah, Team Freedom always looking like a well-oiled machine out there. They have so many years under their belt together. During that timeout, they were talking a lot about converting block touches. The block is doing a really good job of being disciplined, getting a touch on the ball, slowing it down, and then converting for a point. Stunners, on the other hand, are trying to find their rhythm. They're confident in their guns at the net. Matt Hilling is now setting, unfortunately, due to an injury, but they're confident in themselves and are staying, on track. Nick?
Absolutely, and big dig by Jarvis there. Hilling now going to swing, rolls that one over, takes Joe Norman out. Only set option here is Nugent. Nugent swings that one, reset into the block. That one's going to be 4 contacts. There is that ricochet off from Norman into Zebra. So a huge dig there by Jarvis and Chappelle, able to keep the Stunners in that rotation, bringing them tied at 11-11. Certainly not willing to roll over just yet. Nugent, the target of Hilling's jump serve. Norman jumps a tad early, but that one tails.
Just a little bit of a mistimed approach right there by Joe. He got good contact on the ball. He was a little bit earlier. I think he's asking for the set to get pushed a little more outside of the sideline there. We're right into his wheelhouse.
Hilling going after Cunningham this time. Set outside to Nugent. Re-punched up by Emery, and he gets the set. Reset again by West to cover. A lot of disagreement about who's going to go. Cover by Hilling. Chappelle step close, goes into the angle, finds Vaughn.
Oh.
Tries to be punched over and saved there by Nugent, but not going to go his way. And there might have been a little miscommunication about who's going to take that second ball between Jarvis, Hilling, and Emery. But at least you got half the court there ready to make a move.
Yeah,
so.
There's no might involved. There was clearly miscommunication on who was going to set the ball between 3 or 4 of the Stunners there on 2 separate instances. But They were able to get the fortunate bounce as that ball traveled outside the up ref, and it was unreturnable by Team Freedom.
You see Nick Amato refusing to not be involved, grabbing all of his middles one at a time as they cycle in and out, talking to them about what he sees and how they can continue to get involved here. Meanwhile, on Team Freedom, Seifert really being the ringleader over there. I mentioned yesterday, currently an assistant coach at the college level, so a guy that's got plenty of experience leading a team and getting them heading all in the same direction, making any small adjustments they need to make. Some small adjustments on the location of some of these sets, I think, for to get Joe Norman reactivated, as you were mentioning earlier. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like a Bick maybe, or some middle of the court centric attack. Pass by Cunningham. Goes right back to Norman, and there's the D ball that beats the inside hand of West. So they look to make that adjustment early and make sure that Norman's back involved in that
they
offense.
need to make sure that that connection is established and, firing on all cylinders, because a lot of the offensive load runs through Joe Norman, and Team Freedom setter needs to make sure he's putting it right in his window.
Hurwitz with a great pass. Hilling goes outside to Emery. Emery covers it with his head. That one, once again, just kind of sits on the tape, unfortunately, going into that double block of Norman and Seifert. Joey Jarvis sees a wet spot on the court, and knowing the way that injuries has been going right now, refuses to let his team even near it for the concern of losing potentially another player. Victoria, what's your take on all that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, looking here at the stat sheet currently, overall for the match, the Stunners have 13 hitting errors as compared to Team Freedom, who only have 5. Obviously, this will happen due to the fact that it is the new setter connection, but, at the end of the day, you have to keep the ball in play and rely on your defense. Nick?
Absolutely. Definitely great to hear some of those numbers threaded in to paint the picture. You're going to see if Freedom can continue that consistency, but that is a nice pass by Chappelle. Off, and Emery once again controlling a swing. Norman going with that high, deep connection. Elias is finding his set location now for Norman.
Yeah, they're getting him going here, and that's a nice high swing back to the corner. Expect to see them to continue relying on Joe's arm for them to finish off this match in 3.
Elias continuing that pressure, but Hurwitz finds a high ball. Only one option now for Emery. Covered by Cunningham. Double called there by Joe Norman. The down ref jokingly refusing to take responsibility, saying, I didn't call it. It was the guy over there. Chappelle with a nice swing. Perfect pass by Vaughn. Gets Seifert involved, and Hurwitz not able to find that one.
Seifert's tough to stop. I don't know if the Stunners have stopped him yet today.
Yeah, I don't. Few and far between, if they were, certainly. Chappelle airs it out. Now Hilling goes to Jarvis, and Jarvis rolls over the top. Nice dig by Matt Elias, and Vaughn goes on 2, funnels it down through the block of Emery and West. It's definitely one of the interesting things we haven't really talked about is there are 2 lefties on the court right now for the Stunners. And so they're also both hitting on the left periodically. It's kind of an interesting dynamic as a blocker to make that adjustment.
Yeah, that's a good point, Nick. Good catch by you, seeing 2 lefties on the court at the same time, something you don't ever rarely see.
Yeah.
Fortunately for Team Freedom, they've got some big dudes over there blocking along the net, and hopefully they can make those adjustments and realize that, they need to see that as it happens.
Yeah, and we saw a great move there by Matt Elias at the end of that point to get that tip up. And that's one of those things that is a good and bad thing, I would say, for someone like Matt Elias, that when you've got such a huge block in front of you, there's going to be a lot more tips coming over the top that you can't actually see because of such the large block. So it really puts a reactive defensive move on him, but that's a great effort there, extends the rally and does exactly what he needs to.
Yep, you're absolutely right. For the Stunners over there, you see Coach Nick Amato now kind of describing some strategies to his team.
From afar.
You know, from afar, yeah. Socially distanced.
In his little orange recliner.
Stunners are down by 2. They need to figure out a way where they can, side out on this one, be down by 1, see if they can manufacture a quick point. And at that situation, it's almost anybody's game, race to 25.
Certainly is. Now we're going to see Nugent trying to put pressure right back on, open up a 3-point lead if he can manufacture something here. And Emery has to just throw it deep. Takes Elias out, though. I like that location. Norman tries to chip, but there is no touch. Sometimes he, if it's not right in his window, there's not a lot of management for the swing, and it's got to be better. That set was a pretty great set, and he's got to be able to put that over.
Yeah, the top opposites in the world, they can all better the ball, right? If you don't get the perfect set, you can still get a nice hittable swing out of it for a chance to score a point.
And that's for the 3rd time this match. We're seeing the Stunners drop a ball on that back line with no movement made from the serve receive. And that's a great ace there for Nick West. Certainly something the Stunners need here, and that's going to tie us at 16 all. Hammered home, Vaughn found. And Vaughn returns fire in kind, goes down the line, and Matt Hilling, no dig made there.
Yeah, Matt Hilling retreating, wasn't holding his place on the line defense, and that one gets hit right past him.
Nice pass by Hurwitz. Hilling goes back to Emery, and Emery one-on-one blocked by Chris Vaughn. Chris Vaughn always finds a way not only to bring the energy, but to find the points and earn them. A well-rounded player drops his hands one-on-one and takes the lefty Oppo on. Seifert targeting libero once again, but no yield. And that's going to be a point, I think, for the Stunners. If I saw that correctly, that was off the hands of Norman and then into the antenna. I agree with the call that was made there. I see the correct call being made, and they're sticking to it.
Trying to get some clarification. Hard to tell from the referees talking to one another because you can't see their mouths moving, Nick.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what they're saying to one another.
Not a whole lot of indicators as to what's going on. Emery with an aggressive float. Vaughn once again getting involved. Nice dig by Hurwitz there. Setter taken out by Emery. Vaughn looks for the rollover, can't find it. Quick little side note here. Dylan Emery is doing a fantastic job that if and when he has to free ball over, he is finding Matt Elias every time.
Yeah, and again, that's just volleyball IQ. That makes sure that
Joe Norman informed to tie his shoes, and he is doing them at the rate of someone that learned how yesterday, trying to ice the server of Dylan Emery in no hurry whatsoever. Backside here has to be set over. And that's just that really tall guy doing really tall things. A little bit of a miscommunication, but he's just looking for a little bit of a reset. Originally, no blockers. That means he's just going to set it straight down.
Yeah, I mean, if you're jumping and you're as tall as Joe is, there's no reason to set the ball up in the air anymore when you can just set it right into the middle of the court for a point.
Now an outside set to Joey. Joey tries to wipe it, but if you look at the hands of Matt Elias, that was exceptionally disciplined blocking. While he went a little bit high with his hands, his right outside hand was turned very well back into the court, ready to defend that swipe.
Great discipline block for sure by Elias.
And that tied up score line is starting to get away from the Stunners here. Joe Norman back to serve his third time. Jarvis is going to have to take an out-of-system swing against a triple block, and he's able to do so. Elias goes back to Norman. Big swing, and he's able to put that one away. Libero Hurwitz likes the blocking scheme set up there, but not quite able to come up with it, and there's going to be a timeout called on the side of the Stunners as a 3-point lead is developed for Team Freedom. They are rounding that corner and looking for the win here in 3.
Yeah, a nice 3-point lead here late in the first set, statistically speaking. First team to 20, right, has got a good advantage over the other team. Not to say that the Stunners can't come back, you know. They get a side out. We've seen them score a couple of quick points on their service game, a quick ace here or there, and a block. I mean, and they're right back in it. But for Team Freedom, they don't need to change anything. Keep doing what they're doing. Good disciplined blocking by Elias in their front row block and defense right now, and then good transition hitting, smart choices. Get the ball past the block, get it over the net, and give yourself an opportunity to score a point in transition.
I think that's well covered and thoroughly explained. I like the situation that Team Freedom is in. And the one thing I also do want to highlight right now, number 47, Cunningham, is doing a great job. They're putting up a lot of triple blocks. So that relieves him with a lot of defensive responsibilities, covering the sharp tip over the top, something that he has done very well, not leaving any open court for roll shots to find points there. Norman now is going to hit a float for the 4th time in this service run. Set going outside, one-on-one, Elias covering up some good court, but Cunningham still moving like you highlighted earlier. The importance of being neutral or stopped, just, you know, even weight balance. That's been a recent discussion in the last couple of years about whether you should be stopped or if your feet can be moving, but you just have your weight centered, and either way, he was still moving the opposite direction. Chris Vaughn with a great pass, and Zebra up and ready to find a swing there. Matt Elias with a great jump set. All starts with a pass from Chris Vaughn, number 9.
Stunners are looking at a potential 0-3 start right in front of their faces right now. They need to figure out something to do here.
Beamer tries to return, but Vaughn gets the dig. Now Norman swings and uses the outside hand of Chappelle. Well swung from Norman, finds that set he likes and makes sure to capitalize. A little bit of a miscommunication for timeout trying to be called by the Stunners, but Hilling's going to dump, and Norman makes that defensive move we were looking for. And now we see Nugent going over the top and jamming it down. Timeout called by Hilling now. There was 3 players on the bench of the Stunners, but as they are not the captain, they are not able to make that call. So.
Great pickup by Joe Norman right there, giving a little bit of a hockey stop. He's, you know, straight leg, one arm stabbed at it. That dump from Matt Hilling had some good pace, but Joe was right there. So credit to him for picking up a dump at a very important time, which eventually results in the Team Freedom getting the match point right now.
Yeah, Nugent also making a very athletic move on the outside. That ball was kind of one of those 50-50s. Elias just, I think, lost the handle on that a little bit as it came over his shoulder from Norman there. And Nugent just went up and did not wait for the, you know, that ball to be blocked back or anything. He just took the authority.
So match point now for Team Freedom. Chris Vaughn, jump serving.
Quick set to the backside. Emery tries to take a swing. Recovered by Jarvis after the overpass. Goes right back to him. This one sails long. Not the one they want. And that's going to be a win for Team Freedom in 3 as the Stunners finish out their weekend 0-3. Well, they you know, Stunner's certainly willing to try and make the best of what they had with a tough situation, but not quite able to come away with it. And so right now we're going to be grabbing our match MVP. And while Matt, my partner in crime, does that, we'll continue to break that match down. So we are going to be going now back over to the next match up is going to be the LA Blaze, I believe, taking on the Dallas Tornadoes. Currently, LA Blaze with a 1-1 split will be taking on the 0-2 Tornadoes. So Blaze took a tough loss last night with the Matadors in a match that proved to be one of the most exciting. But now I am joined live by Chris Vaughn, our man of the match. Chris, congratulations. I was talking about it a bit on stream. You're really a guy that does it all. So when you guys see a lineup that comes to the floor with 4 middles, what's your first reaction?
Well, our first reaction is we can play our game and
Bring the mic
bring
up
it up.
step.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good. All right. Our first reaction is these guys are going to block the ball.
Yeah.
So we need to do our best job to cover. And they did. They're big boys up there that we need to, you know, adjust our scheme a little bit towards staying high, attacking. But if we play our game, we know we can win.
Absolutely. And so we saw, you know, we were talking about a little over on the side here was kind of the challenge you guys are going to have to go to. They were hanging in there. Were you guys talking at all about the service pressure, or what was kind of the focus that you were going to funnel through and how you were going to win?
So we definitely were going through naming different service targets as they changed them. They actually swapped out a couple times of the players that were our service targets. So we made a couple adjustments. They made adjustments. But I think that, you know, it was a relatively new setter for them, and he didn't have that much experience. So we had a good feeling that if we could keep the ball in play and make them play with our big block up there, we were going to have a good time.
Absolutely, and that's been one of the things that defines who Team Freedom is on the court is your guys' consistency, ability to adapt dynamically and win through, whether it's you and Nugent going off on the outside, using the new big right arm of Norman on the right, Seifert and Zebra both getting established in the middle. You guys were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it felt really good out there. Elias was really dishing it. It was good.
Yeah, he had a great match. And, you know, one of the things that you do so well is not only are you playing great defense, applying the service pressure, but you are a rock in the service line. What was your focus? How were those serves looking? It's always hard from the sideline. Were they putting some pretty good pressure on?
They were. They kept it away from me most of the time, but I love receiving some serves. So every time they brought it my way, I was feeling good about it. Nick West has a very unique serve. A lot of top spin, so it took a little bit of adjusting for us to see that. But no, yeah, we were feeling pretty good out there, pretty crispy. But they did have some good pressure coming from some of their jump serves.
It was a great match, definitely a great win, and now you guys are ending the weekend, I believe, are you guys 3-0? 3-0, that's right. I couldn't remember how the third one went. So 3-0 now. You guys had a tough loss to the Ramblers that finished you in 4th back in November, definitely coming back for vengeance, and a 3-0 weekend is nothing to scoff at. How are you guys feeling, not just in the number, but also in the end result? You guys happy with how you played?
We're very happy. You know, we've been putting the time in the gym and, you know, getting in for practices, and, you know, it's paying off, and we're pretty stoked about it.
Absolutely. Well, we'd love to see a 3-0 weekend for you guys develop. We're gonna make sure we track you guys. Check these guys out on Instagram. Follow their page. Team Freedom is a very well-established name in the volleyball world, so always posting clips and breakdown. Make sure to check in with those guys. But that's going to do it for us. We've got another sideline take, I think, with Victoria meeting with another Freedom guy, Joe Norman. Victoria, over to you.
Thanks, Nick. Norman, 11 blocks, 17 kills. What sets your team apart from others in this league?
Just working together as a team, really putting in the hard work on the off season, and everyone's staying accountable for everything that they're doing on the court, and we're working great as a unit.
Absolutely. Offensively, you guys have a lot of guns at the net. How is that helping you, win these games as compared to some other teams rely more on their defense? You guys have both, but offensively, you're killing it.
I think for our team, we're just trying to turn our offense into our defense, using our covering systems, and everyone's working hard. And I mean, we speak for ourselves, I suppose, our hard work.
Absolutely. Congrats on the win. Nick?
Thanks so much. And like I said, we're now going to be having the LA Blaze take on the Dallas Tornadoes. So this one's going to be an important win for the LA Blaze, a team that is trying to rally back a bit. And Dallas Tornadoes in their opening weekend, see if they can take a match or two and find a way through this first event. It's been a tough weekend for them, but we're definitely seeing glimmers of ways for that team forward. But that's going to do it for us here. We're going to be back at 2 o'clock, so just under 1 hour. Make sure to stay tuned, and we'll be back soon.